Hello, my name is Mark. I'm a concept artist and illustrator working for the entertainment industry. And in this in this demo, I'm gonna try to show you how you can paint realistic skin tones. I think the first I should tell is I told this before in my earlier demos that always use references because I mean, you can learn the basic stuff, but the skin tones and and generally skin colors are always depending on the actual light and actual lighting scheme, and it's always a good to use a point of reference uh, to start your painting or use multiple references uh, about the same ethnic group what you're trying to paint. So here I just plugged in roughly the character and just a general desaturated colors for the skin tones. So I'm trying to paint sort of an Arabic tribal leader for my Dune inspired series. So these people are living out in the desert or on the desert rocks, and these are the things what uh, what are influencing all my colors because I also wanted to show the the desert but not really directly. So what I had in mind is to paint sort of a rock wall in the background, but we can see the bounce light of the desert sand on our character's face. So here I have three main light sources. I know it's kind of funny to say that because in reality I only have one, what is the natural light of the sun. But in reality there are three main light sources, and the first is of course the sun. But because the character is surrounded by sand, what is basically a really small reflective dust particles, and the sand reflects back the warm light of the sun and makes it even warmer. So I have one main light, my key light from the upper right. I have the bounce light, what is another key light, but more like a sort of between a key light and the rim light, but from the lower left. And my third light source is the light of the sky, what basically also really lights. So, but we can only see that bluish or desaturated blue color of the sky in the shadows. And this three light sources pretty much creates an almost standard studio lighting setup for me, because that's what they use to create really real plastic or nice portraits in the studios, to use these three lights. So one key light, one fill light, what is basically my light colors, what fills in the shadows, and one rim light, what is the bounce light of the sun from the sand in my case. So what you have to keep in mind is it doesn't matter what kind of light sources you use or what kind of lighting setup you use, but it's you don't really see much uh, from the actual local color of the skin. So of course you're gonna see it in the really shadowy areas where uh, where there's no light at all, or there's only just a, a bit bounce light getting in, or you can see it in case of of really special lighting conditions, like for example in case of an overcast sky uh, where there is no direct light or there is no bounce light from the environment. Um, but in most cases, what really matters is your environment, because your environment and the color of your light sources, because all those things are affecting the colors of your character, and especially the skin of your character. And this is because our skin is a bit oily by nature, so it creates a semi-reflective surface. So it's not really matte, but uh, it reflects back all the colors from the surroundings. So, and the other thing, what you have to keep focus on is not really the actual colors you use what matters, but those colors in relation to all the other colors in your painting, or the colors beside them. So if you just check um, the left part of the face where I use the saturated gray bounce light of the sky, and that spot of bluish tone really pushes all the yellows and oranges beside them. I use the same orange color and yellow colors on the other side of the face, but still on the left side I feel they are much more saturated and strong. So always try to handle your colors in relation to each other. So it's always good to check back and step back a bit and correct your values. You can also just squint your eyes and check your values that way, or if you're working in Photoshop, uh, you can also put a simple color layer on top of all of your layers and just fill it with black. And if you switch on that layer, it instantly changes your piece into black and white, and it's much easier to see your values in black and white, to check everything is alright. Because if you're using too much adjustment layers or too much contrast changes or other adjustments during your workflow, you can easily mess up your values and tones. So here I pretty much finished the portrait. I'm just stepping back and adding more rim lights here and there, just to separate the character from the background, and adding additional small details to push the story a bit, like the markings on the face, or try to vary his clothes more, just to add more patterns and variations. It just makes it more natural, because usually we don't use like the same. I mean, or jumper. It's not the same like our t-shirt or jacket in terms of color or patterns or fabric. So yeah, just pushing the details a bit more, and this is what I saw now is pretty much the final effect and render phase. I'm adding a bit of a fake lens blur to add more depth to the piece, even if I wanted to keep it painterly, and I'm adding a bit of dust and sand particles blown by the wind, just to give it just a hint of more realism. And it's pretty much finished. So thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.